Tom, we've muted you. He's no longer on the council, so I don't need him to take votes. But I texted Tom and I was like, so any chance your wife could just show up for this rather than you trying to connect remotely? He's like, I swear, I will be on remotely. It will work. So, all right. It is 7 o'clock. So I am going to call our Tuesday, February 1st Common Council meeting to order. Megan, if you all haven't met Megan yet, Megan is our new clerk. This is the council. Will you please take the roll?
Went. Here. Ritten.
Here.
Bartz.
Here.
Licht.
Here.
Wagner.
Here.
Schmid.
Here.
Wetzel.
Here.
Rumline.
Here.
Very good. And if you all would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great. The item on our agenda is the minutes of the council meeting from January 18th. Does anyone have any comments or questions on those minutes? All right, seeing none, I will go to comments and suggestions from citizens present. If there's anyone in the room that would like to comment, if you'd like to comment, you can come up to the microphone and state your name and address. Looking remotely, we have Jacob Moss, the zoning administrator, and then Pete Hartz, our water wastewater manager. But no other members of the public. There is an opportunity at the end of our meeting to comment as well. We have one public hearing this evening. This is to hear citizens and taxpayers on the proposed amendments to Section 532-18C and 532-20C. This will adopt a free board recommendation to assist in maintaining a Class 8 ranking with the National Flood Insurance Program for our community ranking system. If anyone, I will open that public hearing. If anyone would like to comment on that, you can come to the microphone. And again, we have no one remotely, so I will close that public hearing. Let's go to reports. You all have the Finance Committee from January 10th, Public Works from January 25th, the Licensing Board of January 5th and 26th, and Transit from January 11th. Does anyone have any comments on any of those minutes? All right, very good. We have no old business, so then let's go to communications and recommendations. The first item on our agenda is the recognition of Alderperson Pash. I will unmute you, Tom. Well, I share just a few comments. And then if you certainly don't have to say anything, Alder Pash, but if you'd like to, you certainly are able to as well. If I can get you unmuted. All right.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yep. I'm going to say a few words first,
Okay, good.
and then I'll turn it over to you. So as many of you know, Alderperson Pash joined our council because of a very similar reason tonight. We had a vacancy that he stepped up to fill. And I think many of you share in the sentiment that in Tom's time, he's been balanced and forward-thinking and really committed to serving this community. Tom is a banker, so his banking experience has been paramount to a lot of really difficult decisions that we had to make at the Finance Committee and here in the City Council chambers as well. And I can say, for me, as someone who loves municipal budgeting, it's not very often you find many people who kind of geek out and study about it as much as you do, and Alderperson Pash was definitely someone who took his time to ask me when we would see each other in perhaps a social setting about an article he read in municipal finance. So I appreciate the work and effort that Alderperson Pash put into this job. He was an incredible member of our Finance Committee and just a really fantastic colleague to budget with. I know from working with Tom that he believes in who we are and what we will be, and at a lot of times really encouraged all of us to push all in on difficult topics that we deliberated on for many, many, many minutes and hours. And in short, I just think his leadership and experience on this council is going to be deeply missed. So on behalf of the City Council and our community, Tom, I wish you and your family the best in this next step in Minnesota. I thank your wife and your family for being so supportive and selfless in supporting the work that you did here. And of course, Tom, I thank you for your service to the city. You've been a tremendous asset to our community, and it's been a pleasure. And I'm sure the people around the U share in this. It's just been a pleasure to serve alongside you. So thank you. Tom will be probably build a plaque, and on the bottom of the plaque, does have a quote that's presented by the city council and it is that there is no greater challenge and there is no greater honor than to be in public service. And that is a quote by Condoleezza Rice. Anything you'd like to say, Mr. Pash?
Well, thank you for the kind remarks, Mayor. I regret I can't be there in person. Everything kind of came about quite quickly in my transition away. But I guess the best thing I can do for this council is keep my remarks brief because I haven't done that much over the last couple of years. But it's been an absolute pleasure, an absolute privilege and pleasure to work alongside all of you. And of all the commitments and involvements and affiliations I've had in Watertown, I think my time on council will be my most memorable and valued and cherished. And I hope and pray that as new leadership comes in and this community continues to go forward, they continue to try to push to find the middle ground and stay united and not let various issues create divide in a community that has so much unbelievable potential. And while I've shared this a couple of times, I won't be living in Watertown anymore. You will have a huge ambassador of the city of Watertown living in Red Wing, Minnesota for the long, long future.
Thank you. Although it feels a little awkward, I think it's
Thank you,
appropriate.
Mayor.
Please join me in clapping.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you, Tom. We won't hold you to sticking around for the rest of the meeting, so either that or I have to mute you again.
Well, I'm kind of excited to see who my wonderful successor will
Well,
be.
then we shall continue.
Emma,
But-
do you want me to take that to see?
I'll keep my mouth shut.
I have a couple things. I could do that. Yeah, that would be great. Thank you. All right, before we get to that, we do have 2 committee appointments for your consideration in your packets. Is there a motion on those?
I'll motion to approve.
Motion by Wagner.
Second.
Second by Wetzel. Any discussion? Right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Alrighty. So let's go to our next item then, which is the presentation from our our applicants for the appointment to the first district position. I have mentioned this, I did chat briefly with our candidates in the back, but I'm going to share it again. And then I want to make sure that everyone feels very comfortable with the process. And if not, our city attorney is here to answer any questions that you have. So the city clerk, and I think it's okay if you start pulling them now. Everyone is going to listen to me speak while you do it. But the city clerk's going to pull names. They're just to provide us an order for who will speak. We'll hear from each candidate. And then if you have any questions for the individual candidates, we will allow those at the end of all 4 presentations. If, for example, Alderperson Went is up there speaking and she went to law school and you want to say, oh, Alderperson Went, what law school did you go to? Obviously, that question may not be applicable to everyone, so we will just allot them the same amount of time to respond. So if you have questions, we'll have an opportunity for those. If you don't, that's okay too. Then the easiest way that I can frame this for you all is just to consider the voting like we would any other voting. So once we complete questions, I will then open the floor for nominations. We'll need a first and a second, like we always do. And then we're going to take a vote on that first and second, just like we would any other motion that you would have before you. If that first motion and a second wins the majority of the vote, which would be 5, then that's it. If that person wins less than 5, then that motion fails. That does not mean that they don't, and stop me if I'm wrong at any point here. That does not mean that they don't win. It just means that that motion fails, and then we would ask for another motion. During this first round of motions, you're going to vote every time, but you can only vote yes on one person. If we get to the end of all 4, we take votes and there's 3 and then 2 and 2. We can keep going, or we could seek a motion to narrow the field to just perhaps the top 2 vote getters, for example. We'll take a motion in a second on something like that if that's your choice. Otherwise, we can keep rattling off first and seconds and vote till someone gets to 5. Does that make sense for everybody? So we'll hear their presentations. I'll open it up for questions. I'll close it for questions, and then I'll open it for nominations. And we need a first and a second, and then we'll take a roll call vote on that. We cannot do secret ballot, and I know how awkward that is for all of you sitting in the back, because I was sitting in your shoes, and I still remember the people that didn't vote for me that night. But some of them were the best colleagues I ever served alongside. So Our state statute prohibits us from doing it in a secret ballot, so we will have to vocalize our votes. Questions from you all on process? Mr. Licht?
I heard what you said, but I'm processing
Yeah, I don't blame
it.
you.
So you only can vote yes once on the first 4 motions? Am I,
We're only voting, you can only vote for one person, is probably the easier way to state that. Is that correct?
Correct. The intention here would be for the first, essentially round, if you call it, each of you should pick who you want to be the candidate or the replacement alderperson. And at that point, you would either nominate that person, second that person, or vote for that person. If you don't want that person to be the alderperson, and it's in the first 4, then you shouldn't vote for that person to approve them. If 5 of you agree, then that person will become the new alderperson. If we get past that point and we've gone through all 4 candidates and nobody's reached a majority, then it's up to you guys on how you proceed, but what would make sense would be to try and limit the field at that point. So somebody nominates that the top 2 candidates are remaining candidates, and then have votes on those candidates. And hopefully we'd be able to get to a consensus from that.
Does that help?
hello?
Yeah, I think the easiest way to think of it is what the city attorney stated. Pick the person after you hear from them who you want to vote for, and that's the only person you're going to vote for until we have a motion to dwindle down the field, if we ever have one. So for our candidates, we'll call the order up in just a moment here, and we'll just invite you to, I don't want to put a cap on it, but, try to be mindful of the amount of time you spend just sharing your feedback with the body. And then we will, when we get to question and answer, we'll provide a limit on responses to the questions if we need to. Sound like plan, Mr. Ritten?
Are we doing questions after everyone speaks?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for asking that. Anybody else? I want everyone to be very comfortable, so. Okay, with that, the city clerk, what is our order?
Callis, Davis, Patzer, and Nails.
Okay, so Callis, so Joe, Davis, Dana, Nails,
Patzer.
Patzer, and then Nails. Let me say that one more time for my own sake. So we have Joe Callis as 1, Dana Davis as 2, Mary Patzer as 3, and Trent Nails as 4. We ready? All right, Mr. Callis, I'll invite you up to the microphone, and you can address the council.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to be real brief. I know I got 5 minutes, but you've got a lot to get through tonight, so I don't want to take up too much time. My name is Joe Callis, and I am very interested in being on the council because I think public service is the highest, like the mayor already said tonight, is the highest calling you can have. And I know when I was younger, I was briefly on the county board and on the town board, but it was really hard, working full-time, you got kids and everything. And now that I'm retired, now I feel like it's really a time for me to give back, if that's what's wanted. And I understand that. There's four of us here tonight, and it's going to be hard to pick one of us. But I really see myself as a good fit with this council. I think I get along with all people. I mean, I bring a different perspective, I think, to the board, but it wouldn't be a perspective that wouldn't mesh with everybody else's beliefs. And I really think that if I could be on the board, I would be a good problem solver. I've done that most of my life. I farmed for a brief period of time, and if anybody here has farmed, you know that you're constantly solving problems, and you always are looking for a better way to do things. Now, the city is on a good trajectory right now with all the projects that you've got going, and I would like to contribute to continue that with the plaza and the downtown development and the river development. This is all real big, and it has to be seen through, in my opinion. It's not something that we can just do part of it and put it off for 5 years or something. It's something that we need to do. And I'm hoping to be a part of that. And the thing that concerned me about the city right now is when the census data came out. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the city lost over 900 in population. And I think I would like to really investigate why. You know, you folks maybe already know why, but that's not a good sign to me for the population to go down. I see Watertown as a great place to live. I mean, and it always has been, I think. But for some reason, population decreased. And I think it's important, while we're doing all this other stuff, that we can also look at that and say, hey, is there something here we can do or not? We can't solve all the problems. Some things are out of your hands. So anyhow, you've got my employment history, educational background, et cetera. The only other comment I'd like to make under my volunteer experience, and I was very proud of this, I worked this last summer with the Rock River Coalition as a volunteer, and they monitor all the streams flowing into the Rock River. And they've been doing this for, I don't know, 30 years or better. And they're very, very good at it. And I was only a volunteer, but we went out several times and monitored 2 creeks in Dodge County. And then they can keep, make sure that the water quality in the Rock River doesn't deteriorate. The Rock River is a huge resource to Watertown as the rest of the state. So that, I just wanted to point that out. And the other thing is, when I was a VISTA volunteer, and granted it was in a different lifetime of mine, but I worked on a housing project, and I think I remember the mayor saying that affordable housing is a big issue in Watertown. And I worked on a project where we did the research for the need for affordable housing in Juneau County, and we ended up getting funding from HUD to get in low-income family housing into the county. And as you know, Juneau County is quite an impoverished county. And I was very proud of that. I didn't really know this happened until a year or two after I was no longer a VISTA volunteer. But things like that are important. Affordable housing is a huge issue in my mind as well. And I really think I can contribute to solving some of these potential problems. So with that, if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Davis.
Well, good evening. Thank you so much for this opportunity to address the council. And just to provide a brief introduction, my name is Dana Davis, and I'm married to my husband, Matt. And we have 3 sons. Our 2 oldest are in college, and our youngest is a junior in high school. 15 years ago, actually this month, we moved to Watertown from Florida. And I can still remember driving white-knuckled into town in the middle of this February snowstorm and unloading our moving truck. Wasn't necessarily a warm welcome, but we were glad to be here, glad for new opportunities and experiences. Recently, scrolling through family photos from years gone by, I was struck at the number of just really precious and wonderful memories that we have made as a family in and around Watertown, at Watertown institutions and at annual community events. From Saturday park and rec soccer games when the boys were young, to now slow pitch men's softball on summer evenings, the aquatic center, wonderful parks, and the epic, and I do mean epic, 4th of July festivities. So I have lived in small towns and I have lived in large cities, and none of them have done the 4th of July quite like Watertown does the 4th of July. And then our very first year here, someone invited us to the Memorial Day ceremony at the bridge. And our boys, again, were very young, and we thought, well, that should be something we take them to. So we went over there, and I can remember standing there on the sidewalk and listening to that somber and meaningful ceremony. I think that was the first time in my adult life that I had actually attended a Memorial Day ceremony. Not every community commemorates Memorial Day. And I am so thankful that in Watertown, it's a priority. Those traditions are important, and those common experiences that we all share draw a community together. So in those ways, but really in so many others, Watertown has been such a huge blessing to our family, and I truly love this community. When the District 1 alderperson position became available, I discussed the possibility of applying with my husband and several others, and I did a considerable amount of research. And these are certainly challenging times for our Watertown families, our businesses, and really the whole community. I decided to apply because I see this as a way that I can serve the people living in District 1 and the community that I really appreciate so much, and possibly maybe help to make a difference. I'm available and I'm willing. My background is in education. I'm a licensed elementary teacher and also a licensed reading teacher. But my main responsibility at the university is to oversee the online and distance learning program. And that means that I manage somewhere in the neighborhood of about 100 online faculty, as well as the staff in our department. The days are busy and the tasks are varied. I work in administration, hire and train online faculty, work with compensation agreements, budgets, data collection and analysis, customer service, and marketing and social media. But I also help to design online courses and online programs, and then work together with others to get those programs approved. Each day, it seems, brings a new challenge and a new opportunity for personal growth and development. I enjoy combining my love for education with practical business and marketing skills to impact online students that are literally located all around the world. As you consider a replacement for the District 1 position, please know that my only motivation is to use the various skills that I have and the years of experience to serve and just to be a help. The small town traditions and values we have in Watertown are valuable and they are extremely rare. It would be an honor to roll up my sleeves and to work hard alongside each of you to protect those traditions and to develop creative solutions that we can use to keep Watertown moving forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Patzer?
Okay. My name is Mary Patzer. My husband and I moved to Watertown in August of 2019. We moved from Sun Prairie. Prior to that, we lived in Waukesha, and I grew up in Milwaukee. I just love living in Watertown, and so does my husband. It is a very nice community here. Service to the community since we've lived here. My husband and I took the Citizens Police Academy course. I highly recommend that. It was very interesting. And Chief Kaminsky, I have a great appreciation for everything that you do. And my heart is really with the police, especially today as we watched another funeral of a New York City police officer who was shot and killed. And this violence is just so heartbreaking for all of us. In the Citizens Police Academy, we've been assisting the police in their efforts with the bike rodeo, the run from the cops, lights and sirens, and then we also had a float in the 4th of July parade and the Christmas parade. I've also worked as a poll worker for the last 3 elections, and I plan to continue to do that. In Sun Prairie, I volunteered with the Meals on Wheels program. I basically worked in the kitchen preparing the meals. I am retired. I'm a retired accountant. And I've always said to myself that when I'm retired, it's my time to give back. God has been good to me, and I'm so blessed to live in this country, in this state, and now in this community. And so it's my time to give back. When we lived in Sun Prairie, about the time that the 5 police officers were shot in Texas, I was just so broken by that. I said to my husband, we had got to do something to show them some love, you know. So we had a brat fry 3 years in a row and earned about $3,500. And it was for the K-9 that we gave the money, because there's always some expense that seems to come up with that program. And what really struck me was the response from the community and the police, they really appreciated that. And I just, like I say, my heart is so heavy right now for the police with all the violence that's going on. I just can't say strong enough how my heart is broken and how much I appreciate what our law officers do, and also the first responders. I think what's going on in Watertown is really great. I really love the town square. I went to the library and walked around. It's absolutely beautiful. I think that Watertown has a bright future. I was surprised to hear that 900 people have left Watertown. I didn't know that, how the census turned out. I think personally, Watertown should probably brace itself for growth, because especially with the crime that's going on in the bigger cities. I was welcoming one of my new neighbors to the neighborhood, and he works in Milwaukee and she works in Madison, and it just worked out perfect for them. So people don't consider this to be too long a commute to work. And I think that if Milwaukee and doesn't get their crime under control, people will flee. And I really think that Watertown would grow exponentially and fast. My work history, I don't know whether my resume was given to everyone. I guess it has. My last position was with the Salvation Army of Dane County. I was a business administrator there and worked with grant writing and kind of just cross-functionally with the advisory board at the Salvation Army, and really oversaw all the accounting functions and budgeting. And so really all of my career I've been in accounting. And I think a strong focus would be budgeting and then long-range planning too, because I've worked cross-departmentally to put together long-range plans and the like. And like I say, you have my resume, so you don't really need a lot of that. So I would just open it up to questions to you. I just, like I say, I love Watertown. It's my time to give back. I have the time. I'm retired, and I just would like to see, if I could make a difference and help. So if anyone has any questions.
We're going to do
Okay.
one more presentation, then we'll do questions together. Thank you. Mr. Nails.
Thank you all for the opportunity tonight. Just a quick summary. I've lived in this city almost 51 years in my short life on this earth. As a small child, we grew up on the south side of Watertown, where my parents still currently reside in District 4. I now obviously live at 1230 North 4th Street in District 1. I've always been interested in the city and how it operates, whether it's the fire, the police, the EMS, the services that we provide, which are all great services for our small community. I have never once turned down the opportunity to tell somebody that this is where I live and this is where I always want to live in my lifetime. My current wife and I have raised 5 children, 3 of them in which graduated from Watertown High School, as well as I have. She did not. She came from Beaver Dam. They have since all grown and moved on, all have their own families, all raise their own children now and do quite well. I myself, I do work full-time for a small company in Lake Mills, which my son also works there alongside me. Him and I also both run the lawn and landscape company that I've owned for the last 30 years in this city, owned and operated, and continues to thrive in Watertown and around the surrounding communities. The biggest thing about Watertown that I like is the opportunities that it has. It has a lot of great opportunities, whether it's the fact that we have a great fire department, a great EMS, a great police department, and the great services that we do provide to the to the residents of this city. And I think there's a lot more opportunities out there that, one, I have learned through some of the great people that I have worked with and worked for over the years, that we can add to this. And I think with some of you guys as well alongside, we can all work together to help this city be better from what it has been. And just a little brief history, some of you probably remember the old days of Value Village, where Farmer Fleet used to be, where Ace was. You're smiling, so this means you guys all know what I'm talking about. As a child growing up, the Eatons, the Watertown Metals, the Loeb Industries, all the companies that have been here and done quite well in this community, and that's what we need to continue to grow and to add to the things that we have to offer for this community. So my more or less reason for doing this is I want to see the city continue to strive to grow and prosper, to offer the services and the other opportunities that we have, whether it's vitalizing the downtown or helping the business districts or helping those new businesses that want to come in and get set up and get going in this community so that they have a prosperous and a good opportunity to get started and get going, because that's the key to most small business and most good business, if we can help them to get set up and get going and work with them at most given times when they need that help to get going. So again, thank you for the opportunity. I look forward to if any questions from any of you, ladies and gentlemen, that you might have tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Nails. Okay, before I open it for questions, I will say, if we have questions from you all, we have 2 mics set up on purpose. So we'll have, if there are questions, we'll have Mr. Callis and Ms. Davis go over to this mic, and then Ms. Patzer and Mr. Nails can go to the mic by District 9. So reminder, if you ask a question, we're going to ask, even if it's not applicable to the others, we'll give them time if you would like to use the time to share anything else. So questions from the council. I was like, someone better ask a question after me saying all that. Mr. Ritten.
Okay. I think this is applicable to everyone. My question is, you've all done your background research on what it is the council does. Do you have any idea which of the committees that are available to serve on that you would like to serve on, and why?
Good question. So I'd like to invite everybody up to the mics. Everyone can, both of you, we'll have 2 over there and 2 over here, please. And I'll repeat the question for you guys, so you can both come up. Yep. We'll have Mr. Callis go first, and then Ms. Davis, and then Ms. Patzer, and then Mr. Nails. So the question is, which committees are you interested in serving on and why? Is that correct, Mr. Ritten? Okay.
I've had, my background is in more or less human services. And so those committees relating to human services I'd be interested in. But I'm also interested in highway issues. I worked construction when I was younger, and roads have always been something that interests me a lot in terms of maintenance, et cetera. And I've had some experience, albeit a long time ago, to do that. And so that would be primarily where I would maybe fit. Also, I guess I'm willing to learn, so wherever I would be needed, I would be more than happy to be put on those committees.
Thank you. Ms. Davis? Yep.
All right, so I would be interested in serving on the library committee. My background, of course, in education. I actually teach children's literature, so I got a soft spot there. I'm interested in parks and rec kinds of things as well. But again, you are way more experienced and you know where the need is. And part of the reason that I would love to join the council is to learn myself and to grow in the areas of expertise. So I'm willing to be plugged in wherever you have a need and you see that I'd be a good fit.
Thank you. Ms. Patzer?
I would be most interested in finance or budget committee. That's where my whole career background is, in that area. And, trying to not leave any rock unturned as far as grant money that might be available, I think is very important to us. So I think that's where my strengths lie. Thank you.
Mr. Nails?
I'd be interested in Park and Rec with my extensive knowledge of lawn and landscape, not including also street department with mechanical and equipment as far as that goes, and some sort of planning and business development areas, and/or anything else that possibly you would need a body to help fill to get the job done.
Thank you. Other questions from the council? Mr. Schmidt?
This can be for all four of you. All four of you gave us good insight in regards to your background, your passions, and why you want to serve in the council. The one thing I've missed all four of you mention is where you stand in regards to the authority of the Constitution, in regards to the positions that we serve the people here, and we place that above our own desires and the people that we serve in our districts. So how would you answer that question in regards to the will of the district that you serve under the constitutional authority we have?
I'm going to invite you guys back to the microphone, and then I'm going to do my best, as I do in nearly every meeting, to summarize Mr. Schmidt's comments. So, Mr. Schmidt, if I may, are you looking for them to comment on their take on, for lack of a better word, the constitutional responsibility that they hold as a representative in a representative democracy?
Yes.
Just that.
Just that.
Yep.
Okay.
Is that an okay summary?
Pretty good, yeah.
Right, no, I guess I really do believe that the number one responsibility of a council person is to represent their constituents. That's why we have districts, so that you get to know the people in your district. They feel comfortable approaching you with issues that bother them or issues that they want rectified. And as a council man, I would be very sensitive to that and be very aware that that's my number one responsibility, that it's the people that really matter in my district.
Thank you.
I think one of the requirements as you sit here was to make a pledge to uphold the Constitution. So the Constitution does guide us, and then my role then would just be to serve the District 1 people who are living there, and to do my best to, first of all, find out what their needs are, and then to help and to advocate, to listen, and then to work to serve to meet their needs.
I also would say that the Constitution has to be tops. We certainly don't need to get into any legal problems and like that, so that has to come first. And always to be open to listen to the people, but, you know, sometimes the people can be wrong, and they need to understand what needs to be done. So, but the Constitution has to be tops, in my mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Nails?
I would have to say you ask a very good question, but sometimes I think you have to ask yourself this as well. Most people that do come before the people are for the people, and the people want them to be for them. So you should always remember that, as well as being a good speaker, you have to be a good listener to what they need. And I have, over the years, have found that even in my district, I have gotten more phone calls on different things going on, wanting to know what goes on, when it's not my job to do that, but yet I've always fulfilled those needs of the people in my area when asked. And I think even Emily can tell you that when we go back to the days of when we built the apartments on 4th Street, in her first days of running in the alderman districts. So the Constitution, yes, is a very important thing, but I think being a good listener is even just as important as that.
Thank you. Any other questions? Mr. Licht?
Just as an aside, I'm sure glad that I didn't have to do this like you four are having to do when I did this a year and a half ago, because I was the only one that was here that night, and that made it a lot easier. But I appreciate each one of you and what you've had to say and the thoughtful comments you had. I can tell you've thought about this. I do have a question. If you could think of one area, we'll narrow it down to one area, that you think Watertown needs to improve at or in, what would be that one thing that comes to mind?
I'll invite you all back up and make a comment that I had 5 the night I sat out there. So you certainly did have a nice walk, but we're very happy that you did. So just to summarize, one area in Watertown that needs to improve, what that would be.
Well, and I'm sure everybody is aware of this, but many of the streets need to be paved. I ride bike a lot, and it's really dangerous riding around on a lot of the streets in town, although I do it. And to me, that's the one area that if we had the money, that would, and with the infrastructure money coming down the road, it would be nice to be able to select certain streets and get those paved.
Thank you.
I really like that we're seeing a new business come in next to McDonald's. That's going to be great. So I would say one of the needs we have is just drawing more businesses in, filling those empty storefronts, filling those empty buildings is a real great need.
Thank you.
I was going to say the same thing. Unfortunately, there's too many empty storefronts on the main street, and it would be lovely to see those filled, and a few more nice restaurants would be great. Also, affordable housing. I understand there is something in the works about housing units, and I think that's an issue also, so.
Thank you.
I think the business plan is one of your great opportunities, because one, not only do we need to put a better business development plan together, but we also need to get the better paying businesses to get in here to help not only the people we have, but to bring more people back in here, which will also possibly help our census and the city to grow and prosper better. So with that better paying jobs, it'll get more people to be able to support a family, to buy a house, to buy property here, to spend more money back in here, along with getting that other business in here to help the influential, bringing other money into this community than just recycling what we have.
Thank you. Any other questions from the council? Okay, so in a moment, I'm going to close the questions. I'm going to give you one last opportunity to think if you have any additional items. I'll close the questions and then I will open it for motions. Then we'll need a motion and a second. So any last questions from any of our council members? All right. With that, I will open the nominations.
Madam Mayor?
Yep.
I'd like to offer the first man. The first one is the last one that spoke, so Trent Nels for the position.
Is there a second to that?
I didn't hear what he said.
He made a motion for Mr. Nails, who was the last speaker. Is there a second to that? Okay, that would fail for lack of second. Is there a second motion, or a new motion, rather? Mr. Schmidt?
Make a motion for Ms. Davis.
Okay, is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Schmidt and a second by Wetzel for Dana Davis. Don't think we'll do discussion. We can. Okay, would anyone like to offer any discussion? All right, Megan, please.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Rumline,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Britton,
No.
Bartz,
Aye.
Licht,
Abstain?
Wagner,
Aye.
6?
Yep.
So we have 6 yes, 1 no, and 1 abstention. That is the majority. Congratulations, Ms. Davis. Let's give her a round of applause. Before I invite you up, I do, to Mary Jo and Trent, thank you so much for your consideration, and I will offer this to you, and I'd love for you to take me up on it. On our city website, under the mayor page, is an online registration for boards and committees. We may only had one person tonight, Mr. Lick stepped up, but we didn't tonight, and so I would love for you all just to complete that boards and committees sign up with any areas of interest that you may have. We have vacancies today that I know of on some of our boards and committees, and I know we'll have some coming up in the spring and in the summer. So I would love for you to be, for us to have a conversation about what the right fit for you is based on your interests and get you on a city board and committee. It's not every day people are willing to serve. So we seize the opportunity when they're in front of us. And I would love for you guys to to submit your interest there. So thank you very much, and I'm sure you all would agree that you're thankful for the time spent preparing for this evening and for the consideration of joining this team. So thank you all very much. Let me find my agenda. So with that, we are going to go to item 4, which is the appointment of the first district alderperson. I'm going to invite Ms. Davis and the clerk to be able to take your oath. And then we'll do a quick photo, and then we'll get back to business. Not that this wasn't business, but regular business, I suppose you could say. So I just want to make sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's, is that fine?
Yeah.
I mean, that's as good as I've got. No, this is just Paul's presentation today. Don't get me in the picture. Too late. I can't sit in the background, say I'm not interested.
Please raise your right hand. I state your name,
I, Dana Davis,
who have been appointed
who have been appointed
alderperson for the First District
alderperson for the First District
for the City of Watertown,
for the City of Watertown,
swear that I will support
swear that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution for the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully and impartially
and will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of this office
discharge the duties of this office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
We'll have you sign. We're just going to take a quick picture with the council president.
Okay.
We can do a group selfie after if you guys want to. It's kind of our jam.
And we're good.
All right, very good. And then,
Thank you.
yeah, we'll provide,
And I'll get you,
give you this one for now. You won't need that tonight. But then we'll get you a copy of that. That's an orientation binder. We haven't quite
All right.
modernized yet.
That's smaller than one. There'll be a test later.
You're welcome. I didn't get it.
There's a test in 2 weeks.
Oh, yep. Yeah, you can take your seat right away. I wasn't kidding.
We throw you right in.
Yes, we do.
Now at least we provide the packet to everyone in advance. I remember I sat down the first night and I was like, abstain? I didn't know what I was voting on. Okay. Well, congratulations. We're happy to have you. Thank you for stepping up to serve the district I reside in. I appreciate it. All right, let's go on to item 5. This is our 2022 General Obligation Investment Rating by Moody's. This is in your packet. Mr. Stevens, did you want to provide any comment or no? The take-home message here is we maintain the same bond rating that we had last year, so that's a plus. Also in your packets is the yearly construction totals. If you have any questions, I'm happy to entertain those. Otherwise, that's in there for your information. So we have no new business. Let's go to the accounts payable.
Madam Mayor, I move we pay all accounts payable.
Thank you. Motion by Romline,
No second.
second by Wetzel. Discussion on the accounts. Yes, what did I skip?
Were there any, I didn't see it in my packet. Did I miss it?
They were sent after, because they were inserted in my packet after. So
Okay.
it might have just been another email.
Okay. I guess
We
it's-
will, I will assure you, we're getting there on getting caught up on all these things. They will get back in your packet in one email. We're getting there.
Okay.
We're getting closer. I'll take a quick peek and see if you need to abstain while she calls the roll. Any other questions on the accounts? I do not see it on here, so you should be okay. All right, Megan.
Romline,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Oh,
Oh,
let's go the
wait,
other
wait,
way.
wait.
Brownline, and then we'll go
Wendt?
Davis. Oh, now you can go David.
Davis.
Got to write you in.
Aye.
Went,
Abstain.
Written,
Aye.
Bartz,
Aye.
Licht,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
All right, very good. So So let's go to miscellaneous business. The only item here is the payroll summary from December 29th to January 11th. Any comments on that? All right, let's go to licenses then. Our only license for this evening is to review and take action on an application for an operator's license for Brendan Lissel. There was one additional item provided in packets, and there's also corresponding information for this one in the licensing board minutes. So I would first need a motion. Yes,
I'll move to approve.
motion by Bartz.
Second.
Second by Went. Discussion from anybody or comments?
This license came to the licensing board. It was denied by me on our application process. There are rules as to why you can be denied a license. This application, after a couple of meetings, is still deniable. And also, there was information left off of the application, which automatically makes it a denial. The licensing board has reviewed all that and has chosen to recommend the approval of this license. But from the police department perspective, it was a denial initially. So I just wanted you all to be aware of that.
Any other comments or questions? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
No.
Aye. No.
Okay, I'm going to take the roll then, because I have no idea how many there just were. So I'm going to reverse, and who made the motion? Mr. Bartz? So we'll start with Mr. Bartz, please.
Bartz?
Aye.
Lick?
No.
Wagner?
No.
Schmidt?
No.
Wetzel?
No.
Romline?
No.
Davis?
Abstain.
Went?
Aye.
Written?
Aye.
5-3, so that fails. Okay, we'll have to discuss following up tomorrow. Okay, then let's go to, we have no ordinances. Let's go to resolutions. This will be quick, Brad, and then we'll get to you, I promise. Our first resolution is Exhibit 9341. This is a resolution to review and take action on the renewal of our EMS billing contract with LifeQuest. This is here from me and the Finance Committee.
Mayor, I'll move to approve Exhibit 9341.
Motion by Ritten, second by Licht. Questions for the chief? Comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, very good. Thank you. Our next is Exhibit 9342. This is authorizing the issuance and sale of $2.74 million worth of general obligation promissory notes. This is here from me and the Finance Committee.
I'll make a motion for 9342.
Motion by Wetzel, second by Romline. We do have Brad from Baird here. Brad, if you want to just provide a couple of quick comments so everyone is aware of what they're voting on.
Okay, thank you. This is the final step that awards the notes to fund the city's 2022 capital program. Interest rates have increased slightly since the initial presentation to the Finance Committee last month. The interest rate we were looking at yesterday was actually 2.10%. We saw improvement in the market throughout today, and the final rate that's available to be locked in tonight, 2.04%. The repayment structure is in line with everything laid out at the Finance Committee meeting, and really positions the city well for a future capital plan moving forward.
Questions for Brad? Hey, it's your first meeting. We're just going to ask you to commit to 2.7 million. No big deal. I think I had the same thing. Mr. Schmidt?
Just an administrative thing. I'm missing the actual resolution for the voting on that. I have the draft for the sale of the sale of the bonds, but not the actual resolution in here to vote on.
So this
My packet.
resolution looks a little bit, hopefully it looks like this. This one looks a little bit different than the resolutions that we typically do, and it's because it's heavily dictated by phraseology. We have to have the contents that you see here.
Okay.
I presume the only, the reason draft was there was because we were waiting on the interest rate.
We are right, everything was finalized this
Yep.
morning. Yep.
I just meant on, like, the summary at the bottom where it shows that we voted on it, the dates and all that stuff, that final page would have
You
been
know,
missing.
we've been talking about that, and as it turns out, we don't, we just literally talked about that at about 5 o'clock today. Very few cities apparently do that, so you may see that adjustment going forward on our end
Okay,
for the
I just-
versions that are presented to council.
I just like seeing it there so we have we have record of how we voted and stuff for the public.
I told them that.
Well, our minutes will show records.
I know, I'm just, from a consistency standpoint, that all of the them match with that formatting.
Sure.
I know we don't technically have to, but I think from a standpoint of consistency with our public, it's easier to have them just pull up one document and see it. I'd rather have that open transparency than have someone have to try to read minutes and understand them. I mean, most can do it, but just for ease of consistency, I want to just see it moving forward, that formatting stays the same. I mean, as long as legal doesn't have any objections.
No, we'll talk about it. If we
Okay.
make the adjustment, we'll talk about it at least at finance.
Okay.
It's not the hill to die on, that's
Yeah,
for
no.
sure. Any other comments or questions on this one? Megan?
Wetzel,
Aye.
Romline,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Ritten,
Aye.
Bartz,
Aye.
Lick,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Very good, thank you. Thanks, Brad. All right, let's go to our next. This is Exhibit 9343. This is a resolution for the 2021 Water Main and Sanitary Sewer Contract Number 5-21, Change Order Number 2. This is their final payment. This is here from Alderman Wetzel and Public Works.
I'll move for 9343.
Motion by Wetzel, second by Romline. Comments or questions on this one? Megan?
Wetzel,
Aye.
Romline,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Ritten,
Aye.
Bartz,
Aye.
Lick,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Next is Exhibit 9344. This is a resolution for the private lateral service replacement contract number 6-21, change order number 1. This is also for the final payment and also from Alderman Wetzel and Public Works.
I'll move to approve Exhibit 9344.
Motion by Ritten, second by Bartz. And just as an FYI, Pete is on virtually in case anyone does have questions. I don't want you to feel like you can't ask these here. Any other comments or questions on this one? Megan?
Ritten,
Aye.
Bartz,
Aye.
Lick,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Romline,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Went.
Aye.
And our last is Exhibit 9345. This is a resolution for the cured-in-place pipelining of the sanitary sewer. This is the contract 7-21 and change order number 1. Also, again, the final payment from Alderman Wetzel and Public Works.
I'll move for 9345.
Thank you. Motion by Wetzel, second by Licht.
Madam Mayor, I have a question on the agenda. It says it's presented by you.
I think we changed that because mine says Wetzel.
Okay. No,
I,
on the top, it says Wetzel. On our agenda, it says it's finance.
I think someone pointed that out though and we changed it in the version I'm looking at says Alderman Wetzel.
Just print the line off line and it still shows you on here.
I swear mine says Wetzel. Well, the important thing is the resolution sponsor at least says you.
We're saving money on this one. This is, yeah. that's
On the
important.
version that I have.
We're saving
Thank-
money.
Thank you, I appreciate
That's why
that.
you want to throw your name
We'll have to button those up.
Yes.
Any other comments? All right, Megan?
Wetzel,
Aye.
Romline,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Ritten,
Aye.
Bartz,
Aye.
Lick,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
All right, next is comments and suggestions from citizens present. If anyone would like to comment? If not, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Motion by Schmidt, second by Wagner. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.